G'day, g'day, g'day. It's the MathematicalKM. Their initials, not a title. And we're taking a look at round 4 of the Tugg Weekender. With the white pieces playing the water horse. Okay, here we go. And you could call this one to sack or not to sack. That is the question. Thank you, Mr. Shakespeare. Okay, here we go. Starting with the fianchetto on the king side. Making sure I get the fianchetto in on both sides. We have got the computer suggestions on. It's all a bit... move order doesn't matter too much at the start, as we are fairly rapidly getting into the full thick-skinned hippo. This indeed is the breather moment. And this is move 10. Knight to d2. I've got an hour and 2. I've actually made up 2 minutes with the 60 minutes plus 30 seconds. And my opponent's on 57 minutes. We'll keep an eye on the clock because it does become relevant in this game. Okay, that's an interesting move. They call it an accuracy. And if you have a look at where that knight can go, played the suggestion here, the only place that knight can really get to is back where it came from. So essentially, thanks for the development. Cheers. Okay, I've castled. King safety, and also looking to play f4 when it's possible. Okay, that's fairly adventurous. Don't really want to take it, don't want to let him take me. I suspect the best move, and it was the computer's move, was to bump the knight, so move the pawn forward with tempo. He's moved the knight to threaten the pawn, so let's back that pawn up. So my 2 pawns are a little advanced, but they're fairly well protected. They're sitting okay. And we've castled to the king side, so advanced queenside pawns. All good. He's solidified. What was I thinking? I was thinking I wouldn't mind putting that bishop here. And if he takes it, I can take back, and then the bishop is lined up on the queen and a rook, so maybe go up and exchange. It liked rook to b1 just to protect the bishop. But anyway, so that's my thoughts and why I played it. We are still slightly up. Now that's interesting. Some kids at the school where I run the chess club would have you believe that en passant is forced, but in this case I thought not. And let's play that f4 move. Now, I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces protecting f4. f4 is threatening e5. He's only got 1 piece protecting e5. And so it's an understandable mistake to get another piece protecting f5. But it truly is a blunder. And it's a great move. Well, I mean, was it great? But it's pretty good. Bishop can't take the pawn, or not without being taken back by a rook, and active rook, queen can come in. All sorts of bad news. And from here, and this is what move 17, it's a 40 move game. Nice to report that once I got this little advantage, pretty much kept it all the way through, but as we'll see. Now this was a good try. Queen here. That queen is looking at a check, taking the pawn with check, king has to move, and then the queen gets a knight, which is not protected by anything. But the way I was looking at it, if I take him, he takes me, I move my king, he takes my knight, I take another knight. So I get 2 pieces for 1 piece, I still go a piece up. So very much I thought it was good. Apparently e4 was best with like pawn games and getting another pawn there in the same situation, but f times e6 is good. We're up the 2.9, basically up the piece. He takes back, and from here I decided to start trying to trade down, and I'm very much going to have all my pawns pretty much on the light squares. It would be nice if he would be left with his dark bishop. So check, and he takes back. Obviously can't put a queen there, but I can put a knight there. The knight's protected by the bishop. Trying to reroute my pieces coming around. Interesting that the computer wanted me to take. Just going to lock it up, trapping his pawns on dark squares. I'm going to try and keep my dark bishop. Okay, his queen is threatening to not take the knight, but to come here. Check, and the king will not be able to take back. And then from there, currently that's not protected. All sorts of badness. So, best move, bring my queen across. His queen can no longer come in here, 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 or here. His queen can't come in. That knight was a long way from the action. Bring this knight around. He took his his queen off of that file, the contested open file. I'd like to bring my rook to the contested open file. It's not like his queen can come here this turn, and if his rook came, actually the king can get his rusty sword out. So should be able to get my rook to the open file. That's good. The computer really wants me to deal with those pawns over there, but no, I'm going to come over here. He doesn't want to trade. Okay, to be or not to be. To sack or not to sack? That is the question. I am a piece up. So, I mean, you'd like to keep your advantage, but it looks very much like I can get 2 pawns for that piece, and there'll be not much between my queen and his king. And I'll admit the little bit of defence that he does roll out is slightly better than what I'd been thinking as I was calculating. But, as you'll see, we'll end up with, he won't have these pawns, I will have these pawns, and no rooks and queens. And I've still got both the bishop pair as well. So let's see how this looks. He's there. I could take first with the rook. Computer's suggesting it. I did think about it. But as we'll see, check. He takes, I take. I had been thinking about queen coming across or rook all the way there. But that's a interesting little defence. Rook times F1. Actually taking was best apparently, but it's come there. There's not really too much I can do with my queen, so let's take. Okay. So the deal is all my pawns, bar one, are on the light squares. He's got a dark bishop. We've got equal number of pieces, but he's got the wrong bishop. Does have two knights. I do have one knight and also a light bishop. I would love, at this point, this is what I'm thinking, I'd love to get rid of my knight and my not very useful bishop for both of his knights, leaving him with a pretty useless bishop and me with a good bishop that can attack his pawns. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see how we go. And this is move 30. This, by the way, at move 30, I've got 33 minutes and he has got 20 minutes. So building a little bit of a time buffer here as well, which, I'll keep you posted on that. Again, the computer is wanting those moves over with the pawns, but I was thinking let's try and get the light bishop out and around. He's trying to bring his knights. Let's go bishop to c1. He's trying to bring his king, very human. Pawn there. Stopping his knights very much. Now that knight can move forwards, that new one, even though that was an inaccuracy. And let's see, move 33, by the way, 32 minutes to 17 minutes. So I'm only up by +2, not the +3 before the madness of that sacrifice. But I think it's easier for white to play than for black to play, and that's being reflected in the clock. Okay. I'm thinking I want to swap my knight for one of his knights. His knights are the only things that can attack my pawns, really. And he's brought that in to quite a nice place, really. I mean, that would be a fork of bishop and king, except that the fact that this bishop can take it. I can't go there for now. But I've got two pieces attacking this square. My pawns end up a little bit out of sorts, but hey, at least I've got pawns on this side of the board. He will not. And his knight was able to attack that pawn. So I've gone, his knight can't come here or here because of the bishop, and now the king has got guard duty here. So for now, it can't do very much. He's trying to get his bishop into the game. I've gone check with a fork. Okay, so now he's got... Currently it's a little bit held up, his knight, but he's got a knight and the wrong colour bishop. He puts it behind. This was a very good try, really. If I'd started trying to walk my king in, then he could have moved his knight here. And it would have been check. Bishop would have had to have taken his knight, and then his bishop would have won my knight. And I would have been left with the wrong bishop for me. I saw that, and there's no way I wanted to lose my dark bishop. Just no. Moved it there. Up to 4.6. Now, whilst I do win this game, lessons learned, here's one to look for. The computer has got quite the suggestion. I've done one sack so far this game. I needed another one. Bishop takes a5. If he takes, bishop's got a king in the way and it's tricky, and my b pawn makes it. The knight can't come and help. Can't come here. Can't come here. His own pawn's there. It's just too many moves for both the bishop and the knight to stop this pawn. That would have been brilliant. Plus 4.45. But sadly, I didn't see that sack. What I did do was just the simple trying to get at his pawns with my correct bishop, and if possible, swap my light bishop for his knight. Let's move 38, and it's 32 minutes to 9 minutes at that point, by the way. So I was just looking at trying to get my bishop around instead of the sack. So, he's trying to get his king around. And this was always my thought. Maybe I'll be able to go for that pawn with my light bishop. But if his king isn't very clever, then something like here with my bishop. But that's move 40, and I've got 28 minutes and my opponent's clock ticked down to 0. So there's a win for the Waterhorse. Oh, and just on my opponent, just quickly, there's me, MathematicalKM, Keith Malumbi, 1468. Paul Dunn, my opponent, 1497, so much of a muchness. A game that was up for grabs, and a successful Waterhorse from one of the by design bishop traps earlier in the piece, and then some good end game work, trying to keep and protecting and making sure I kept the correct bishop, giving my opponent the wrong one. Not sure about the initial knight sack, but it did give me a bit of an advantage, and his king was open. Real shame I didn't see that beautiful bishop sacrifice for the queen. But there's always next time. Bye for now.